younger, I'd be about 17 or 18. Saturday afternoon, I remember going Saturday afternoon, it was a nice day, so I used to cycle to Oxon Reservoir. And I used to go up Chesterfield Road, then New Barn Lane at Plesley, past Stanton Hall, and come out at the canal, which is the Carnarvon Arms, and joined the road from. It was a road which ran from Stanton Hill, and you got on there, and you went through Morton and Tivshell. I can remember stopping just outside Tivshell and looking over the countryside with all. It may have been getting towards autumn time, and then I started Tivshell, crossed the A61 and went down this steep hill which crossed over the old Midland Main Line to Sheffield, and then up the hill and ended up at Oxon Reservoir. And so I used to have to spend 5 or 10, a bit of time at Oxon Reservoir, but when I went back, the incline so steep, I tried going on my back, I couldn't, my legs weren't strong enough, so I had to push the bike up, and then it wasn't all that far a hill, and then I used to go over and come back, cycle back.
So what is it on your computer?
Oh, it's a picture of a Royal Scot. It was a principal mainline express locomotive. It used to go between London and Glasgow and Liverpool and Manchester. Those it used to be used on those, and it was in this photograph. It's named the South Wales Borderer, and it's heading it's heading past Tivshell, the old Great Central with the coach trains. This chap wrote how the mighty have fallen. Of its principal duties as a lot on the Royal Scot. That's what they named after the train, like Flying Scotsman, the Royal Scots, and they're named after regiments. And 2 or 3 within a year and a half later, it was scrapped, and it must have been within a year around '66 that the line was disappeared altogether. So when you look at this photograph, you see Newton in the background, those houses still there obviously, but now it's just plain fields. I can remember walking adjacent with our Scottish friend Vi, and going over a viaduct called Loco Viaduct. I don't think Vi realised it was an ex-main line, because she thought, oh, it's calling on about railways again. And I can remember you can see it struts, and I've seen photographs, and I've borrowed them up to somebody, and I've never had it back. We're train actually going over this viaduct, but when we went over it, you just see the outline. These parapets were there, but everything had been filled in. It wasn't particularly tall.
So you were on about when you were little, and when you were 16, 18.
What on Skegness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the the problem with that main line, unless you're a railway buff or you're interested in steam locomotives, that was interloper, those rail Scots. You've got a lot of the Midland region took over Eastern region, the Great Central Main Line, which was a main line, the last main line to be built in Britain, and it was there were no severe curvatures, not great. There were no level crossings on it, and yet the Midland region ran it down. So when we used to go on holiday, most of the locomotives around the area were freight locomotives, but the one type of locomotive we used to have, if you went on excursion to Skegness, was either a Thompson B1 or a Graiseley K3. Now it was one thing I can remember is my dad taking us to Plesley station. It was on the Shirebrook to Nottingham via Shirebrook to Nottingham line, and that was a Thompson B1. We proper carriages, which you get expect an express train, and we went through Outram Street, Sutton. In fact, you can see the bridge. It's still there. You go on Newbound Lane, and it went from Outram Street, Sutton, down to Kirkby South Junction, through Kirkby Annesley Tunnel, which is the two now. There's the Midland one, which is 200 yards long, but the Great Central one went underneath it, and that was over 1,000 yards long. And it went through Annesley Yard, and we went through Nottingham Victoria and got off at London Road, which is now gone. I don't know whether it's gone or not. I know it's not used, but I can recall that. And the only thing left of that station now is it's just off the road up Pit Lane, and you can just see the peculiar, which was something to Eastern Region stations, the actually fencing. You can just see where the fence was, and it's in a cutting. In fact, I think there's still a bridge which takes you over it, that line. It's still there, because you used to be able to get, you see, you used to have access to Plesley Colliery. There used to be quite a lot of big sidings. And I think I've got a picture of that bridge, and I'm sure it's still there, because you can walk from that Erzone Estate, where many, in 1947, many clearance snow would 5-6 feet deep.
That's when they had that big snow season.
Talk about global warming. Well, blooming hell, we haven't had any snow like that for the last 30, 40 years.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. I can remember the old chap who's dead now. He used to build it along end of Oxford Lane. I'm moaning to him, said, "Oh, this blooming heat, can't stand." Just about 7, 8 years ago. He said, "Well, it's better than snow, isn't it?" And that was reality. So I thought, I'm sure the sun then, those hot days, weren't as bad as they are now.
No.
I think we are getting more extremes. Anyway, that's my cycling.
When you were out on your bike?
Yeah, it's a cycle to Clumber Park. I mean, we drive now. We drive along, I used to go to Langworth, go to Company, then cycle through Norton, then I used to go stop against Clumber Lake. Now, and I saw a car. I used to go into Clumber Park, have a cycle around there. I'm not one for stopping a long while and cycle bike. But then you never saw a car. Now when you go down it,
it's dangerous.
You're terrified.
Yeah,
it's
dangerous.
Some of them come down.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah.
There's no village little
lanes.
lanes.
When these cycle rides, when I used to cycle, when we lived at Langdon, I used to cycle to my grandma Cots at Big Barn Lane, Mansfield. And I can remember stopping at Annesley Hall. It's still there now, but they've bypassed it with this new road from M1. And I remember stopping there, listening to birds everywhere were quiet. And you get the occasional car, and B6 bus from I think it went from Ean or somewhere. I know my mother, we used to catch it, the B6 to Mansfield. And but I remember cycling along there, even along the present road which goes to Technical College through Annesley Woodhouse. I can't remember being intimidated by traffic. There aren't any traffic.
No.
So even though the motor car was starting to take over from trains and excursion, and you did get busy in Skegness, those places, but middle of the week, unless you got to Peak Pier, I mean, the only time road traffic got busy was either at dinner time when people going back for lunch at work, or at night time when factories, and even then a lot of people on buses. The buses used to be packed out. Yeah. So it was different. it's a totally different world today. I mean, you could cycle with pretty safe. You know, wear safety helmets. It was a 5-steer Sturmey gear, not cycle, drop handle. And it says many times Langley Mill going into Golden Valley, Ironville, and all those places, and Moor Green Lakes, D.H. Lawrence's home ground, and Sunday morning, right, Mum and Dad, I'll be about an hour going around Moor Green Lake. Now, the only time it got a bit like, which I got a bit nervous, and used to turn right, was when we got to Newthorpe, and it was the main road into Nottingham. I used to find that a bit scary. That was a bit busy then at time, but obviously that's bypassed now, and because I was going to turn to Kimberley, but I don't know. I turned back and then I went through Eastwood, down Eastwood Hill, back home at Langley Mill.
It's the little roads that the little roads are more dangerous than the big roads because they whip down there and they don't think there might be a bike round corner.
I mean, Moor Green, the road from Wonderwood, I used to go from Cromford Road, Langley Mill, up Ena Hill. Don't know how I got up there. Then turn left. The junction's still there at the Sun Hotel, but it's a kind of one-way system. And it's go down past Eastwood Hall, through Brinsley, past where D.H. Lawrence wrote some of his plays. His dad worked at the colliery there. In fact, the headstocks used to be there at the time, but they moved into mining museum somewhere. And then you just go as far as Underwood, and that junction's still there. Then turn back and cycle down and go past Moor Green Lake, and stop there for a few minutes. But you never hardly saw in the traffic Sunday morning.
No.
Never hardly saw a car. Yeah, it was a bit busy. Going up Eastwood Hill was a bit busier then. I mean, what we had then were trolley buses as well as buses. We used to have trolley buses going from Ripley to Nottingham. I think it was the longest trolley bus ride in the country. I only had a ride on one, and when my mother, this was cinema called Rex at top of Eastwood Hill, and I remember coming back up one. And I thought, oh, this is great, you can hardly hear noise. It was that silent, this trolley bus. And but they used to go to, I think, what happened that when we got to St Earls, Baseford, they used to, instead of going straight into Nottingham, they turned up we went up Nottingham City system and all round Baseford. So I think really where the diesel bus carried straight on, Bobber's Mill, straight through there, instead of going all around ours on trolley bus. So days I remember.
Happy days, but that's youthful days, isn't it?
Huh?
It's when your youth. Yes, your youth helps.
The schoolboy,
Yeah.
I mean, trolley bus
better days.
I remember going outside Langley Mill and I think I've known kids on the bike, talk about nowadays, they've had to stop it. Because it hit up Ena Hill, they've cycled on ungot pole.
I've seen it on pictures, but I've never seen anybody do it.
Yeah, I've heard stories of kids trying things up the top of wires. I remember I used to get to Ena, there used to be one who could cut Ilkeston, but there used to be one at Ena, and they used to turn around and remember seeing Chatwick Pole conductors taking pole off and moving it to another line so you could go around.
Like with things on top that conducted. Anyway, nice times.
We're going that for posterity.
You've got the chats on you at the minute, so get your breakfast.
And all that started with that.
Yeah, well, looking at
and those
picture.
Houses. Remember?
Yeah.
Looking at those houses, and there's the fire pit straight, must be still there. And you just go through there and carry on towards Homewood. In fact, you see 5 Pitch Trail at Homewood. I don't go in now.
Right, go and get your breakfast.
We saw her healthy then. Didn't have really heart trouble.